Hey guys, what's going on? David from UC. I've just got the Golden Axe put together. A funny story, I took out the restrictor gates to put in a 6 pound tension spring for each joystick, then put everything back together, and I completely forgot to put one of the restrictor gates back in. So one of these joysticks is missing a gate, but I thought I should get on here and just show you live, I guess, what I think about it and take any questions you might have. So right off the bat, something about this cabinet I didn't realize until the other day. Code Mystics did the emulation. Now I understood why Arcade1up used Code Mystics for Star Wars because it was a tough game to emulate and get those CRT effects right on an LCD monitor. So you saw the Code Mystics logo, and I get why they did them on NBA Jam because I think Code Mystics was involved in building out the online infrastructure. But for this, I was kind of surprised that they would jump in and spend that money for kind of a niche cabinet that retailers didn't pick up. But that's retailers' loss because the cabinet itself looks really nice, and I'll cover all that on my review. What's up, Hunter Boom? Thanks for joining. So anyway, the only modification I've done, and probably the only modification I will do, are 6 pound tension springs, nice and stiff. It's got the volume adjustment. Every time you click up a notch, I don't know if the mic picks that up, but you get a little bit of an audio. So that's new. But other than that, I think the software is basically the same. You do get dynamic backgrounds, which is kind of cool. It's a good looking menu design, one of the better I've seen so far. And this is what I'm most hype about. Not sure if you can see that on screen, but we get settings for every individual game. And again, I didn't know that until a couple days ago. I kind of thought we were going to get just basic emulation on this bad boy, but not the case. So you can adjust all sorts of things. And we're talking full dip switch type settings. And then on top of that, you can turn emulated scan lines on or off. So pretty slick. The ability to adjust difficulty is probably more important for a fighting game, at least for me. But I'm glad it's here. And I tell you, it just makes me wish we had this on every cabinet. So far, we've only picked it up on cabinets that Code Mystics handled. All right, so how do I get out of this? Oh, okay, save and exit. That's probably seemed easy. Yeah, Elvira, Street Fighter 2. Yeah, you and me both. I've got a Street Fighter 2 cocktail cabinet, and I'm not that good at fighting games. And man, I can't get past the first couple enemies. It's just not going to happen. I'm not good on Street Fighter. Not good enough for the hardest difficulty setting, which is what they set it to. Yeah, Todd, it provides their listening. Keep in mind, though, this is not the standard Arcade1up emulation. This is strictly the Code Mystic software. So we're yet to get dip switch settings in a standard Arcade1up, although it's coming. We've seen over the past week that we are going to get dip switch settings on some of the Miss Pac-Man cabinets, hopefully all the Miss Pac-Man cabinets, and that would be one that Code Mystics didn't handle. So let's jump in and play a little Death Adder. I got a mea culpa with y'all. I've never played this game. I've only ever played regular Golden Axe. Oh, and I forgot to mention something I don't like about the menu navigation. You have to use the leftmost joystick to select your game and get everything set up. I don't understand why they wouldn't allow you to use all the joysticks. And that's going to be one of my feedback items to Arcade1up that I hope they will fix in a... Why am I not playing the game? There we go. That I hope they will fix with a firmware update. Let me know how the audio is for you guys. Not sure whose idea it was to abandon the bikini chick we got in the first one and give us bikini centaur. Kind of weird. That wasn't intentional. If you guys have any questions about the cabinet while I'm playing too, let me know. Yeah, marquee looks really good. But hopefully the camera can't pick this up, but my screen bezel, let me take this off screen. My screen bezel for the plexiglass overlays actually came damaged, so I'm waiting on them to send me a replacement. It's dumb. What a weird idea that a centaur can mount an animal. It's weird. Huh. I wonder what was wrong with the Altered Beast setup. I thought that was only a 2-button game. How's the tension springs? So I put 6-pound springs on here, but I'll tell you, the stock springs felt more firm than what they usually are. They normally are 1 pounds. I mean, I don't have a way to measure it, but I think we got 2-pound springs initially, to be honest. They really didn't feel bad. It's not something where you'll feel like you have to replace the tension springs, I don't think. I don't know what a reverse centaur would look like. Yeah, and I'll tell you, this wasn't shipping damage either because it came wrapped. Everything looked really good. But that overlay for this plexiglass overlay with the artwork, it was clearly damaged before it was shipped. So someone in their factory just packaged it up and shipped it, which I think happens quite a bit. It's just one of the sacrifices I think you have to make if you're going to get into a low price point. Not that, I mean, this was $400. It's not that cheap, but you're not getting the highest end manufacturing. Even among Chinese shops, you're not going to get the best of the best at that price point. You're really just going for price. All right, I'm going to back out of here. Let's try another game. Huh, Golden Axe the Duel. I'm not familiar with that game. Is that a 4-player game? Let's do some Altered Beast. So somebody said that the controls are bad here. Let's take a look at the settings. I don't think you can map controls. That might be what people complained about. Well, So 1-player and 2-player, but it's not mapping it to these controls. So you play in the center. It really ought to let you play with whatever control you want as whatever player. So if I want to be player 1 way over here on the left and player 2's way on the right, you ought to be able to do that. The system ought to recognize if I hit start on 4-player, it's going to play on that control. So I could see maybe that being a little irritating, that 1 and 2-player squished to the middle. It's just kind of weird that it's got 5 games and then 1 is 4-player and everything else is 2-player. It's kind of fundamentally goofy.
Rise from your grave.
These 6-pound springs might be a little too much, actually. It's a little too stiff, to be honest.
Power up.
So is Duel a 4-player fighting game? No, 2-player fighting game. Okay. God damn, I missed that power up. I'm used to the console version of this. Kind of throwing me off.
Power up.
Yeah, Zero, these aren't 2 pounds. I'm saying when it came with stock. These are 6 pounds, and it's probably overkill. There's a guy that sends them to me for free to review, so I went with it, but I think in hindsight, I'd have preferred 4-pounders. But I didn't mind the 6 pounds in NBA Jam, weirdly. I thought it worked fine there. Yeah, don't get it mixed up. They didn't come with 6-pound stock. I was saying earlier, I think they came with 2 pound. They felt like 2 pound to me, but they normally Arcade1up gives us 1 pound. It'd be nice if they told us when they updated their components. Because sometimes I wonder if it's placebo effect. Like, I'll play certain cabinets I think feel pretty good, and then I'll play cabinets like NBA Jam that I think feel like they have terrible joysticks. But maybe it's all the same stuff, and I'm just bugging out. I don't know. Stupid.
Never give up.
Man, my dude hit me with the combo. This is so much harder than the console. Jesus. So you can see the cabinet moving. I'm probably going to take these 6-pounders out.
Never give up.
I just accidentally hit 2 players, so I got back out. Probably for the best. I was getting wrecked anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a full review on this. Where are you going to put it? Yeah, I don't know, man. I just sold my OG Wave 1 Pac-Man, and I'm about to sell my Wave 1 Galaga. Partly because I'm getting the Miss Pac-Man cocktail. It's coming tomorrow, but partly because I got to make room for these guys. Let's trust Shinobi out. I agree, David. This should be a 2-player cab, or at least it should have been a 2-player option.
Mission 1.
That was a waste, huh? Yeah, I agree with that. That Pac-Man cabinet you're talking about, the HSN one, it looks good, but why they would have done black on the riser makes no sense to me. Did I miss something? This is another game where I'm used to the console version. I don't think I ever played the arcade. Space Harrier, man, that's what's up. Space Harrier cabinet would be awesome. Oh, shit. Of course I walk into it again. Anyway, my the title of this is First Impressions, so I guess I should give you some impressions. It's one of the better looking Arcade1up cabinets, not the best looking one. I wouldn't put it up there with like Star Wars, for example, but it is nice looking, and the orange is a nice change of pace, but that's just happens to be the Golden Axe colors, but it looks good. It just always comes down to, do you really want to spend the space on a 4-player cab? And I know when TMNT dropped, for me, that was a big no. I feel like those games don't have a lot of replayability, and I just imagined I would play these games a little bit more, especially Golden Axe. Jesus. And I mean, we'll see if that ends up being the case. You never really know till you buy these and have it for a while. But and certainly if I keep playing Shinobi like this, I won't be playing it too much, right? But yeah, good looking cabinet. I mean, for $400 seems reasonable. I'm a little surprised that none of the retailers would pick this up. So Arcade1up ended up selling this directly because no one wanted to sell it. It was at least the story I heard. And I would have thought, just off the strength of the Sega licenses, people would have picked it up. But nope. Meanwhile, we all know how many different versions of Pac-Man the retailers will pick up. Deputy Van Halen, nice. Oh god, I wasn't paying attention. There's some pretty crappy music in this game, to be honest. I think some of the later Shinobis were a little more impressive. This one's kind of bland. Yeah, on that topic, that the cabinets Walmart picks up are kind of universally recognizable. That's true, but if that's the criteria, I mean, you can run out of those games pretty quick that are universally recognizable. Some of these deeper cuts, like Death Adder, that aren't recognizable, what's that mean for the long-term viability of this market if games like that don't sell? I mean, eventually people will get tired of even Pac-Man. Really, I like the music in Genesis Shinobi, but I don't really like the music on this game. I'm gonna try this one more time, and then we're backing up. I want to try Wrestle War too. I've never played it. One person told me they liked it, and then there's an army of people that tell me it's Garbo, but we'll see. Sweet. I'll take it. Yeah, where is the Dig Dug? Well, I'll tell you where the Dig Dug is. It's on that Miss Pac-Man cocktail cabinet I just ordered. Better question is, where's Dragon Spirit? Splatterhouse. Those are games that definitely are never getting wide releases. Qbert would be cool. I remember when I was a kid, I had like a mini, like home Qbert, like a tiny little, almost handheld, and I love that thing. And my local bar arcade has Qbert, so I play that occasionally. Where did I order the Miss Pac-Man? Where did I get it from? I got it from Best Buy and Walmart. Yeah, I remember now. So I got it. Let me back out real quick. That's one thing, by the way, I wish these games had were save states. Yeah, so I picked up the Miss Pac-Man and cocktail cabinet from Best Buy. It's $50 off, $4.50. But Walmart has it too, but I think it's the full 500. You could probably get them to price match, but I like Best Buy better anyway because they have rewards. Ghostface, what'd you miss? So basically just some first impressions on this. That I like the cabinet quite a bit. Obviously, this isn't a review. I haven't spent enough time with it yet. I just picked it up. But yeah, Best Buy sells the cocktail. That's the one I'm talking about. The cocktail cab for $4.50. There obviously are stand-up versions of Miss Pac-Man that have Dig Dug too. I just wanted another cocktail cabinet. So this is kind of a minor thing, but kind of weird. In the menu screen for some games, it'll show you, okay, player 1 uses these controls, player 2 uses those controls. But then in other games, it doesn't. It'll be 2-player, but it'll only, like, it's just clearly just something, an oversight, but it'll only show the button mappings for player 1. Minor thing, but this is nice though, that they filled in with graphic bezels to look like the original cabinet. That's a really nice touch. I think that's the first time Arcade1up's ever done that. Now, obviously, the Legends Ultimate does that with almost all the games on that cabinet.
Welcome to Wrestle War.
Am I playing? What's going on here? I guess I'm playing. Weird. It wouldn't let me pick my character. I have literally no idea what I'm doing, by the way. How long did it take? Man, it took way too long. I swapped out the tension springs, which took a while. And my girlfriend helped me put it together and put the riser together, and may have stripped out a couple of the screw heads, but who's counting? Shit, I should do something. I'm gonna back out again. I feel like I'm not playing with the right controls or something. Try that again. Yeah, man. It's at least as good as the other Arcade1ups I've played. I mean, the software is better. Like I said earlier, I mean, you really ought to be able to navigate the main system menu and select your game with any of the 4 players controls. You can't. It forces you to use this far left. But I'm going to give that feedback to Arcade1up, and hopefully they'll listen and give us a firmware update that makes it universal like it is an NBA Jam. Yeah, pause button would be nice, especially on Golden Tee. I don't know if you guys have Golden Tee or not, but you get a penalty if you wait too long between strokes. So if you like go and hit the bathroom, it can ruin the whole game. You really do need a pause. All right, so I'm playing with this set of controls. Let's try that again.
Welcome to Wrestle War.
I think I was confused because I've got the red trunks on, but the life meter for the enemy or blue trunks and then blue. But I'm definitely the guy in the blue trunks. I gotta say, by the way, the scan lines look pretty good. And you can turn them off if you're not into that. Shit. There we don't really know what I'm supposed to do when I pin him. Do I hold it down or what? Which guy is Hulk Hogan? I think they're all rip-off characters. I don't think any of these guys are Hulk Hogan.
Welcome to Wrestle War.
I don't think, I mean, I've only played it a couple minutes, clearly, but this doesn't seem bad to me. A lot of people said this was trash. It's not the usual where you pick your different wrestler. I mean, you're really stuck with one guy, which maybe people don't like that, but you got the nice scaling, kind of semi-3D graphics. That's kind of cool. Got some out-of-the-ring action. Shit. I'm gonna get counted out. Let's go.
You coward! You coward!
There we go. Apparently it's a 20 count in Japan.
One, two.
Get out of here, son. I think it might be game over on this one.
One, two, three.
Yeah. All right, let's try OG Golden Axe before we wrap up. Favorite cab? Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth between Star Wars
For
and
your glory.
the Capcom 12 and 1.
Welcome to Wrestle War.
I think if it was executed better, Burger Time would be my favorite, though. Has Golden Axe taken the top spot? It's too early to say, but probably not. I mean, the Star Wars cabinet is just, it's so close to perfect. It's really hard to beat it. The Capcom 12 and 1 cocktail is hard to beat just because it has so much game variety. So again, I mean, maybe this is a nitpick, but it's annoying when this player here, I don't know if you can see it on screen, is the primary player one for most games. But then I gotta come over here to navigate the menu. It just seems like a weird oversight. You end up forgetting which button to hit to get started. Yeah, NBA Jam's a great one too. I don't know why I don't ever think of that one as being in my top. I mean, it's a really well executed product. I don't play it probably as much as I thought I would, but yeah, it's a good game. Zero, yeah, man. I want them to do a firmware update so we can play from any of them, and certainly so we can navigate the main menu from any, which is what NBA Jam allowed for. You could pick up any of the sticks and get into the game. All right, I got to go with Homegirl here. So this is the Golden Axe I'm a little more familiar with. What happened? Guy on crutches is dying, and I just ask him what happened. You guys know offhand how much later Death Adder came out than the original? Because, I mean, the visuals are so much better in Death Adder. The sprites are like double the size. This is kind of a drab game. I think this one was 89, but I could be wrong. I don't think WWF WrestleFest is available to be licensed. Also, let me know in the chat what your guys' favorite, if you collect Arcade1ups like I do, what your favorite cabs are. Because, like I said, I go back and forth with which ones I like the most. There are definitely a handful I really like, and then there are a handful that really aren't very good. Like, I still have the Wave 1 Rampage cab. I love the games lineup in it, but that cabinet is just junk. Get rags. If you guys weren't here in the beginning, I mentioned I swapped in 6-pound tension springs here. Kind of regret it. I really think 4 pounds the sweet spot for these lightweight cabs. How do the controls feel on Shinobi? They felt fine to me, but I don't think I've ever played the original Shinobi in arcade. I think I've only played the Genesis version. I was kind of trash at the arcade version, but I'm not going to blame the controls for that. Yeah, Golden Tee definitely is a great cabinet. I don't know if you guys saw it on Facebook, but John D's saying they want to do a Wi-Fi Golden Tee. And also, Golden Tee is $250 at Best Buy right now. If you don't already have it and you're not holding out for the Wi-Fi, you should pick it up. It's a sweet cabinet. I'm still salty. Oh, great. I'm still salty. I dropped $500 on it. That's what I get for not paying attention. Yeah, mister, you are missing out. It's a dope cabinet. You like it. You really think, so somebody I see in the chat talking about Outrun, you really think Outrun's going to drop this year? I kind of don't. Obviously, it's coming soon. I'd love to see it. But check this out. Outrun, I looked into this the other day. There were 5 arcade variants, the original Outrun. And most of them, I don't know if it was 4 or 3 of them, but most of them had force feedback. And it sounds like the one we're going to get from Arcade1up is not going to have force feedback. So I don't know if that's a deal breaker for you guys or not. It's probably not a deal breaker for me for that. I think for more modern racing games, like you start getting into the Daytona USAs and stuff, I'm going to definitely have to have force feedback on that. I could probably live without it with Outrun, but it's still kind of lame. We should be getting force feedback. Even if it's like an optional add-on that you can get. Because I know that stuff costs a lot of money. Let me know what questions in the chat you have for this cabinet if you have anything I haven't covered yet. And I will do a full review on this in the next day or two. My Miss Pac-Man cocktail is coming tomorrow, so I'm going to be busy. Stupid. That's a good price, man. I just sold my Wave 1 Pac-Man for $200, but I mean that was with a riser, but still. Yeah, the Legends Ultimate. So obviously I have one. I reviewed it. I just had the 1.0. The 1.1 just dropped. I mean, I like it. I'll tell you, the online leaderboards, I'm starting to get into that a little bit. They dropped a bunch of Taito games for original owners, which I liked. It's got several games that I really like Elevator Action and Kadash. I've been enjoying the Legends Ultimate quite a bit lately. I always hated in old arcade games, like over here where the water is, where you can fall off the map. But it just always felt cheap to me. Like if you hadn't played the game before, you wouldn't know that you could fall. Especially with these muddy ass graphics. Get out of here. Yeah, I heard the build quality is a little worse than 1.1. I can't speak to that directly. I haven't played it. I tell you though, the artwork options to the 1.1 is nice. That snap-on artwork, at least the photos of it I've seen look really good. But I'm happy with my 1.0. I think it's a good machine. I like the quality of the controls too. They did that right. And I'm not enjoying this 6-pound spring right now. Definitely have to swap that back out. Yeah, so I have my Legends Ultimate next to all my Arcade1up individual cabs, and I don't really like how they look together. They just don't match. They're just two different things. The Legends Ultimate's so much larger, so I've got them in separate rooms now. But yeah, I agree. The Arcade1ups are if you want, you know, that arcade experience in your house, and you have room for more than one cab. If you only have room for one cab, I mean, I think you definitely got to go for the Legends Ultimate or the iArcade if that turns out nice. They're really not all that directly comparable. What is directly comparable, though, is that Neo Geo MVSX cab. That's definitely competing with Arcade1up directly. I didn't realize the Legends Ultimate had bowling. Did you add that game, or were you streaming it or something? Mike, MVSX is the Neo Geo cab from Unico that I reviewed a couple weeks ago. Let's see. Brew, you asked about 6 pounds. That too tight? So I'll tell you, I got 6 pounds on my NBA Jam, and it feels great. On this cabinet, nah, I don't recommend 6 pounds. I couldn't tell you why, one or the other, but it's giving me trouble on these games. Especially Shinobi. Shinobi felt really bad with 6 pounds. But if you got an NBA Jam, do it. Mike asked if I'm buying an MVSX. Man, I'm hoping they're going to send me an MVSX to keep. They said they might. I've spent a crap load of money, and I'll be honest, retro arcade bros aren't as generous with the super chats as some of the other niches in YouTube, which is totally cool. But it's costing me a lot of money. I don't know if I'm going to buy an MVSX this fall or not. I definitely do want one, but I'm feeling a little tapped out for money. But fingers crossed they're going to send me one and give me the hookup. I don't know, man. Real cabs are so heavy, though. I mean, what about when you move out of your house? Do you really want to move a Cruisin' USA cab? That's going to be like 500 pounds. To me, I mean, the part of the value of this is that it is smaller. You can fit more of them. They don't weigh as much. I know it's not for everyone. Some people like original hardware, and that's cool. I bet it does weigh a million pounds. I told people before I'd be moving one of those out of my basement, my foot would slip and I'd die under it. Man, it's not worth it. Life's too short. Maybe if I was in a garage where I didn't have to deal with steps, I'd consider real cabinets. I always like the music in between levels on this game. The sound effects are so exaggerated. Jolly, the LE version of what? That's the thing about pinball. There's so many good tables, and I feel like with arcade games from different eras, there's kind of a consensus on what a lot of the best games are. I mean, obviously everybody's got their own picks, but you know, you talk about top 10, top 20 best titles from different eras. You can probably come up with a list a lot of people agree on. But with pinball, there's just so much variety. There's so much good stuff out there. Hopefully we get a good representative variety for the home market. Yeah, the giant joysticks I think look stupid, man. Everyone makes jokes about them, but they don't look very funny to me. They just look like a waste of space. But I mean, I don't mind the product. I mean, other people might buy it. You know, it's for other folks, but I'm not interested. All right, before we go, I'm going to do Death Adder one last time. Yeah, 80s vibe. That's dope. I don't think the Universal pinball ever got confirmed. And you know how these prototypes have leaked before, and then they may or may not come out. The NBA Jam prototype leaked, and then obviously we got that. But Arcade1up had a Neo Geo prototype that never materialized. So I wonder if we'll actually see the Universal machine or not. Yeah, I wanted Marvel versus Capcom, but I already have a Marvel limited edition with Sandwalk controls. So given all the other stuff there is to buy, I couldn't really justify another game with some overlapping fighters on it. What I really want is Buck Hunter, though. That's other than the pinball or the Miss Pack that's coming tomorrow. I really want Buck Hunter. I hope those Sinden guns live up to the hype. This just looks so much better than the first Golden Axe. The movements just feels more responsive. I mean, this might be old hat. Maybe you guys have played this game a bunch, and I'm just late to the party, but this game's completely new to me, and it feels so much better than Golden Axe. And I like Golden Axe. But I'm glad they went with Death Adder as the artwork game. You could tell the guys that made this game were really into the audio sound effect, or the water sound effect, the waterfall effect. And they do sound good, but it's like a total set piece. The music drops out. Someone probably spent a lot of time on that back in the day. Ted Nugent. Man, you never hear about Ted Nugent anymore. Or at least I haven't heard about him in a long time. Yeah, I just threw down on some magic. In some ways, this was an early cinematic game. Like, you really do have set pieces. I mentioned the waterfall, but you kind of walk in, people are laughing, doing their own thing. It was sort of novel when this game came out. I always wished you could do a partial magic in Golden Axe and not necessarily blow your whole wall. Light up marquee looks awesome. But, I mean, Arcade1up always does a good job with that. But yeah, it looks really nice. I'll give you good close-up photos of it in my review. The character and enemy and mount design in this game was so cool. Kind of wish I could have played it back when it came out. Yeah, but Saturn kind of ended before its time. Sega was just, I mean, you guys know the history of that, but Sega was just such a mess in that era. Yeah, Shadow Dancer is on iArcade, and not a game I'm real familiar with, but I've heard good things about it. That's why I say these ought to have DLC, because if you buy this game, $400, 5 games, and you make that choice that you'll spend that money. But what if you want Shadow Dancer? You should be able to pay for it. What if you wanted Golden Axe, the duel that one of you guys was talking about earlier? I mean, you ought to be able to add them. The licenses are out there and available. It's not like you can't get these games. I just think it's a missed opportunity that you can't expand these cabinets, legitimately. Obviously, there's illegitimate ways to do it. Didn't mean to do that. And I have no idea what I'm doing. Why will it not let me go forward? It was weird. Huh. It's not registering right clicks. Well, my joystick just crapped out mid-game. It's possible. I mentioned at the beginning, we back out of this. I took all the restrictor gates off to swap those springs out, and I forgot to put one back on, and I don't know which one. I think it is this leftmost, but it was working before. But obviously, the restrictor gate holds the actuators in place. So I'm just telling you guys that to tell you that it's probably not anyone's fault other than mine that fell out. But I'll definitely open it up and check it out. The 18-pound springs. Yeah, it's too Haas. This cabinet's too Haas. But yeah, I think that I'm missing. I mean, it feels like there's no restrictor gate to this. So I think that's what it is. And then the actuators can kind of fall off. So I'm going to have to open this thing back up later anyway and put this gate back on. So I'll get the actuator back in place. If that wasn't the case and the cabinet really did crap out, I'll tell you in the review. But I think that's probably unlikely. It's probably my mistake. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will have a full review soon. Give me a day or two. If you have other questions, drop a comment on this video once it's posted, and I'll look into it for the review. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.